Hey guys, welcome back to the Final Takeaways live stream. We are live streaming again today. We just want to say hello to the first. I see 92 people already in the stream. We want to welcome you. We're going to be starting pretty soon in a few moments, so hang tight. Thank you for your patience as we await some other persons who I believe, are planning to come and join this stream. We have over 20,000 subscribers. We have, of course, followers and fans who are not subscribed, but we do have a large fan base, a large following. So we want to wait to see, have people come in and settle in before we begin this live stream. Of course, we're going to be focusing on results updates and housekeeping, basically giving you any updates, important updates from the last time we had the live stream, which was, of course, last evening. We did go very late into the morning, so we had a great time, and we hope that we can have another great live stream with you today as Guyanese and stakeholders, whether in Guyana, the United States, whichever part of the world that you are, whether you're Guyanese or you just have an interest in Guyanese politics. We have some information to bring to you, and we're going to be focusing on what's next and to bring you an update. Okay, so we will be back. I will be back in a moment. Hang tight. Thank you for your patience, and I'm going to play some music so you can entertain yourself in the meantime. Hello, guys. Tell me if you can hear the music in the background. I want to welcome Quincy Rodney. Good morning. Good morning, love. Good morning, Rupert August. Quincy Rodney, tell me what part of the world you're tuning in from. You said good morning, so I'm curious as to what time it is at your end. Also, Rupert August, good afternoon. Vincent Norton. We don't know who won the elections as yet. The last thing we knew before we ended the stream last night, and I think that is still the status quo, is that the elections results are not going to be coming out today based on a statement from GECOM, the Guyana Elections Commission. Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Final Takeaways live stream. We're live streaming for the elections. We've stepped away from creating our videos as usual, so we can bring you live updates on the Guyana's 2025 elections. Now it's the day after voting. Voting is over, and everyone is anticipating anxiously, I believe, the results of the elections. Today we're going to Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Today we're going to be updating you on what's happening on the ground. So generally it's business as usual. It's quiet in Guyana from the last thing we heard. Nothing nothing to shout about. Let me drink some water. Yes, yes. Sorry about that. Yeah, nothing to shout about. Everything is going pretty quiet. We understand everything is, dandy. Everyone is waiting for the elections results. So last night we ended the stream. For those of you who entered the stream last night, we want to thank you. For those of you who came through. We want to welcome back everyone. We want to welcome all of you, whether you were here yesterday or you're here for the first time. It's the day after the elections in Guyana, September 2nd, 2025, and everyone is anxiously awaiting the elections results. As I've said, naturally, you want to know if your party has dominated the polls and will be governing the country and taking care of its oil wealth, and most importantly, the people of Guyana for the next 5 years or so. That's the term. The usual term for a party to be in power. If this is your first time, we want to welcome you. You missed the live stream yesterday, but that's okay. We had a great time. We did 2 live streams and we had a good audience support. If you were here yesterday and you're back again, welcome back. Welcome back. We had people from all over the world yesterday as well. Put your headphones on. You can listen on the go. We're going to be talking elections and elections results and things like statements of poll for the next 2 hours or so. And also, we're going to be bringing you an update, like I said, about what happened since we last got together, which was in the AM of this morning. I want to really thank all of you who stayed up late and were on my stream and didn't want to go. I didn't want to go either. And we're asking questions and interacting. We want to thank you for your support. And it was just a lovely, lovely community. And I'm sure this particular stream, this community also is going to be a lovely bunch of people. So I'm looking forward to interacting with you and answering your questions to the best of my ability. Today, we're going to be talking about the results. I'm going to hop over to the GECOM's website. Let me tell you. Okay, 2 things, 2 important things. The results are not coming out officially until Thursday. That's the last thing we heard from GECOM. And number 2, hundreds and in some cases over 1,000 statements of poll are already in since we last checked GECOM's website last night. Okay, so I'll bring you that update. Also, we're going to skip over to hear from the reporters at a media house in Georgetown, and they're going to give you an update as well. So yeah, those are the most important things we're going to be looking at today. And also, we're going to talk again about Mohamed, Azruddin Mohamed. Now, the Guyana Elections Commission, if you haven't heard this as yet, they accused him of they accused the party led by Azruddin Mohamed of publishing a quote unquote fake statement of poll on their Facebook page. And GECOM denounced that action. And in fact, I believe they consider it an election law violation. And they were talking about the police getting involved and investigating. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. If you heard anything else new, let me know, please. And also, we're gonna look at one of the issues that came up yesterday, and it's very disheartening to me. I don't know about you. There were elderly voters and some voters who were differently able and weren't able to access the polling stations with ease because the polling stations were on the top floor of certain buildings, and there were elderly folks and people who cannot walk on their own, who had to be literally lifted into those polling stations. And it breaks my heart, honestly. We're gonna talk about that as well. I want to hear what you think about that, and hopefully in the next cycle, Guyana can prepare for everyone, including the elderly and people who aren't able to walk and, access these polling stations on their own. The other thing I want to bring your attention to is I did say we're going to check the statement of polls. Now, in Guyana, there were over 1,200 polling stations. So there's a lot of polling statements of poll that need to be uploaded to GECOM's website. You can also track that there on your own. I can help you to interpret some of the information there in a minute. And and after that, after those statements of polls are uploaded on GECOM's website, the next thing is to count the votes. After the votes are counted, that's when I guess they're going to verify and they're going to re-verify and ensure everything is straight before the final documentations are sent. The records are sent to GECOM, and then GECOM, once it certifies everything, it's going to announce the winner of the elections, and that should be on Thursday. We plan to do a live stream and to bring you live coverage of that. Let me see. Okay, we have Ann Prasad, good afternoon. Azari Clark, good afternoon, everyone. Alvin Raghunandan says, wow, Thursday. Yes, Thursday. 3 days. You know what? And again, no statement of poll. If you see a statement of poll online, or you're hearing any social media outlet saying that they have any information as to regards to results, according to GECOM, that is inaccurate. Do not go with any unofficial statement of polls or any announcement that you're hearing from any party or any supporter. You have to wait. The best thing to do to get the authentic official information is to wait for GECOM to make its announcement on Thursday. So I urge you to be cautious about that. Right. Somebody said, "Let's go, let's go." Okay, that's Colette. Colette, could you say why you say that is not right? Mohamed. Somebody says the legendary says Mohamed is gonna win. I believe that's what you're saying. Uh, let's bring up. One moment, please. Okay. Alrighty. So right now, this is where we are. We're at getting the statements of poll together. Okay, so this is where we are. We have to be patient with the process. I know we want the results right now. We want it like yesterday, but it is a process, and unfortunately or fortunately, we have to wait for that to be the case. Okay. I want to bring you to. So today also, I'm going to be discussing with you the Guyana electoral system so you can understand what it takes for a party to get in power, what's necessary, what's needed. Okay, so we're going to discuss the electoral system, and you'll tell me if you have any questions. You can ask me. I can see how best I can answer. Okay. GCOM will have a press conference live on Thursday, and once that press conference comes live, we're going to be linking to that press conference and also bringing you that information live, everything being equal on Thursday. If there's any changes, we're going to obviously update you either by a live stream or by a community post. So ensure that please you subscribe to our channel, you turn on your YouTube notifications for this channel so that you can get a ping every time we upload something, whether it's the video, we're doing a live stream, or we send you out a note via the community post. Thank you all for your support again. As we continue here, we're going to walk you through Guyana's electoral system to help you understand what's needed for a political party that contested this election to win the office of the president and to be able to govern Guyana. So with that said, we have six parties contesting the elections. I did create a screen grab of the these are five of the parties. When I did create this screen grab, I missed the ALP party. No offense to the ALP party, that is led by Miss Simona Brooms. I'm gonna bring her picture up in a moment. No offense to, we apologize for that. No offense to Miss Simona Brooms. This is the leader of the ALP party over here. Okay, so we have those five parties in the backdrop there, which I'll show you, and then, well, you know the parties if you're following Guyana's politics. And this is Miss Simona Brooms. Okay, she is the leader of the ALP party. So, with that said, okay, let's see. Give me one moment. Okay. Okay, something's going on here. So with that said, we're going to take a look at the electoral system, and we're going to get that squared away. In a moment. All right. So when it comes to politics in Guyana, one of the most important questions for the 2025 general elections is this: how exactly does the electoral system work, and how many seats does a party need to win? Before I answer that question, let's take a look at the live. Yes, we are live. C. Mangle is asking, are we live? We are live this evening. We are live. We're coming to you wherever you are. Georgetown, Berbice, the United States, Suriname, Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, any part of the Caribbean, because there's a lot of Guyanese who live in the Caribbean as well. If you live in the United Kingdom, wherever you are, we're coming to you live this evening, bringing you some updates. I'm going to also queue up something I want you to hear from the media house in Guyana about the elections. Okay. In fact, we'll do that in about 2 minutes. Okay. So when it comes to the electoral system, what's needed for a party to win or to get back in power? So we'll break that down. Okay. So the structure of parliament, it's like Guyana has what's called a unicameral National Assembly with 65 elected seats. To form a majority, a party or a coalition party, okay? So it could be one single party that wins this election outright, or two parties or three parties may have to come together to coalesce and form a party. Either way, they're going to be the party, but they have to have at least a minimum of 33 seats in parliament to govern. That's the magic number to control parliament. Other than that, they're going to have something similar to like shared governance, where they have to consult the other party, the opposition party, in order to make certain important decisions and pass certain laws. So if they want to control the parliament, they'll have to have at least 33 seats in order to do that without needing to consult the opposition. So the minimum of 33 seats amounts to what's called a simple majority. Okay, so I want to break this down to you as simple as I can. We're in politics class, Politics 101, and let me know if you need me to clear anything up as I go along. Okay. Bridget says, thank God the citizens of Guyana have finally gotten rid of the big cross as the known as the PPPC water relief. We don't have the results yet. Colette Selwyn says, if Mohamed win the election, he must have at it. Mami C says, who's winning? We don't have the elections results as yet, as of the last time I checked, just before we went live. Rudolph Santiago says, good afternoon. We have PPP supporters in squatting area, Kuru celebrating and saying the win. Unless you hear anything from GECOM, I will urge you guys to wait for GECOM to make that special announcement. GECOM is the only official body under the laws of Guyana that is invested with the power to declare the winner of the elections, right? So you don't want to be misled. Just be careful. Good evening, Queen Letta. Queen Letta, good evening, TFT. You are sounding low. Okay, let me turn that up. I don't know why my volume is low. Okay, Queen Letta and everybody in the chat, can you hear me clearly? Okay, I have no idea why my sound is low. Let me see. Okay. This is the highest I can bring the volume, so let me know if it's working for you guys. How about now? Okay, it's all the way up to 100. Let me see. Okay. Hubert Allen says, will Aubrey stay or will he go? We'll have to, how about we call Mr. Norton and ask him, so yes, I'm sure he wants to stay. I'm sure the APNU wants to win office, but we have to wait and see. Thank you so much. Alvin Dwarka says you are clear. I appreciate Queen Letta for letting me know. She was it Queen Letta or the other, yes, who says I was sounding low. Thank you guys. You guys are like my eyes and ears, because from the back end in the studio, I don't know what's going on out there, so you guys please be my eyes and ears. Let me know when I'm slipping up and when you can't hear me and things like that. Okay, so let's go over here. Let me see. Okay, so yes, I'm going to you have to wait. I urge you, let us wait. Let us be patient. 2 more days and we might hear something about this elections, okay? From the Guyana Elections Commission. Now, back to what we were talking about, trying to help you understand what you need to expect and how the party that wins the election will get into office, what criteria it needs to satisfy, okay? A minimum of 33 seats. That's what's required for a simple majority. Of course, it could get 34, 35 seats, even better. That's a bigger win. And according to Trump, as he would say, that party would have won bigly, okay? So Guyana uses a close list proportional representation seat. And let me go back to the 2020 elections a little bit, just to kind of recap. In March of 2020, in the March 2020 election, the PPPC coalition secured exactly 33 seats, the minimum required for a simple majority. The opposition coalition, a partnership for national unity, the Alliance for Change, and the Alliance for Change, the APNU-AFC coalition, won 31 seats, and another party received 1 seat. And that's how the PPP got into office and the APNU-AFC coalition got kicked out of government, okay? So just to kind of help you understand. So how are the seats distributed? Guyana uses a close list proportional representation system. It's split between national and regional constituencies. Hence, the national and regional elections are held together. I had someone in the chat last night in the live stream that asked me, okay, so why do they have to have regional and national elections? Well, this explains it, okay? So they do everything at the same time, so you won't have to hold 2 elections. 40 seats comes from a single national constituency, which is called the top-up list, and 25 seats from the 10 geographic regions based on the population. And don't get me started on the population, because there were allegations that the list, there was a bloated voters list when they compare the number of eligible voters, adults over 18 plus, that were adults, and the population. And when you consider that, when you consider the kids, maybe hundreds of thousands of kids, how come the list has over 700,000 people, I believe, were eligible to vote? That was interesting. And so the opposition party was calling for a clean voters list to remove people who were allegedly dead, but their names are on the list. And, are they out of the country? They migrated, things like that. But that, of course, that didn't, come to fruition. And also the request for biometrics to kind of double down and ensure that the people who are voting are actually those people whose names were on the ID cards, Let's get back into the chat to see what, everyone is saying here. So, Okay, so Almighty God daughter says, but people are on Facebook saying the PPP one. I'll tell you what, let's clear that up right now, okay? I'm going to bring you something and we'll continue on the electoral system as I want to help you understand how this system works, okay? If you're interested. Let's get to a video I queued up for you. Hold on. One moment, please.
Unhindered. We have early haven't gone smoothly on account of all that we've heard from observers and our own reporters in the field. So those polls closed at 6 p.m. and the focus has been on counting the ballots at individual places of poll. Over 1,200 of them were established across the country, and so the counting has gone on, and at this time it will move into tabulation of those individual statements of poll. A reminder that in these elections, 65 seats in the National Assembly are up for grabs. The party with the single largest block of votes will form the government. The party that is looking to really have an authority would be looking for 33 or more seats in order to govern unhindered. We have early indications from the incumbent People's Progressive Party, but no clear definitive statement from them saying what their position is. Last night we heard from the PPP General Secretary, Dr. Barra Jagdeo, saying that he didn't want to issue any premature statement, but still saying that they had the macro picture, meaning that they would have known what the results are from the polling places across the country. And he was saying that the PPP was essentially sure about its picture, saying that it was good. And perhaps an even greater positive outlook came from President Irfan Ali after, in a statement that he issued just after midnight. He spoke about moving into another chapter in the development of our beautiful country, giving positive signs for PPP, but staying short of making any declarations. The declarations will come from the Guyana Elections Commission. They will be done by districts. There are 10 electoral districts in these elections, and they will declare them by district, and then there will be an official declaration of these results. The Chief Elections Officer had anticipated that he would be able to do so by Thursday morning at the least. So here in the newsroom with our very small team, we have been trying to tabulate the results. They have been posted to the GECOM website. GECOM doing a phenomenal job of posting statements of poll in many of the regions. Most, if not all, of the statements of poll are in, and we have been looking at the results that have been coming in. We can start off in Region 10, Bishani, and I think Region 10 is where the story is very, very interesting in these elections. It's a region that the PNC has dominated from the time it was formed, but it doesn't seem that that will remain the case based on what we're seeing. So Vishani, can you take us through the results in District 10 there?
Sure, Neil. So far, just for me to tell the viewers, we don't have all of the SOPs for the region as yet. GECOM has not has not uploaded all of them. We have 145 of 280 SOPs from those ballot boxes. And this is really what it's looking like right now with those SOPs in. You have the We Invest in Nationhood party in the lead, and all of the other parties combined still could not move past that vote count that Win has.
So guys, you heard that. You heard that. Those are preliminary results coming out of District 4, and Win Party is in the lead. You heard that for yourself. Win Party is in the lead. Okay? That does not mean that the Win Party is winning, but we have to wait, because we have to wait until all the district votes are have been counted and tallied and totaled up and, what should I say? Confirmed as the official count. But I'm going to take you back to this information coming out of Guyana, and you will hear some more about what's happening with those counts in District 4, which I believe covers Georgetown and certain areas around Georgetown. We haven't heard that the PPPC has won, but so far, based on this information in that area, based on the polls the statements of polls that were tabulated or looked at, Win is leading in some areas.
Win right now has more than half, 50.1% of the votes so far has been taken by the We Invest in Nationhood party. And then following closely behind is APNU, and you mentioned that Region 10 has been a PNC stronghold, and of course APNU is a PNC-led party. And then closely behind the PNC, you have the PPP taking 19.3% of the votes in Region 10 so far. These are the votes so far. So Win with a clear lead right now, 50.1%, APNU behind with 26.1%, and PPP with 19.3%. And then you have the other three parties, the AFC, the ALP, and the Forward Guyana movement taking just a little bit there. But interesting too, the AFC just has about 1% of the votes. The Forward Guyana movement has 3.2%, more than the AFC, which I think it's interesting. The AFC has been around for some time. The AFC has a decent presence in Region 10, a very vocal presence in Region 10 at least. So this is what Region 10 is looking like right now. Of course, as you mentioned, our team, they're still working on the numbers as the SOPs come in. But beyond Region 10, we have Region 3 with 100% all of the SOPs in right now. And perhaps you could talk us through Region 3 being divided into these sub-districts?
Yeah, so for the purposes of these elections, the laws were changed. Usually Region 3 is a single block, but to make it more efficient for them to deliver results on time and for the process to be more transparent, Region 3 was divided into 3 sub-districts, and we have the results for Region 3. It's looking very red.
Yes, so 3 sub-districts. In sub-district 1, which is for the Essequibo Islands and River, according to GECOM, you have PPP clearly taking this sub-district with 77.7% of the votes. And then you have Win behind with 16.5% of the votes. A small portion went to APNU, and you see APNU in green. These are all the parties' colors here. And an even smaller amount went to the AFC and the Forward Guyana movement there. So in sub-district 1, PPP clearly clinching that sub-district. Then we move to sub-district 2, which is from St. Lawrence to Cornelia, Ida. You have, again, the PPP clearly taking that. And the numbers are fairly close to what we saw in sub-district 1. So here you have PPP getting 74.5% of the votes based on our count that we done with the SOPs. And then you have Win, which is also holding fairly constant with 16.9% of the votes. And then you have APNU behind with 7.6% of the votes. Then we move to sub-district 3 for Region 3. Again, Region 3 is divided into 3 sub-districts, and that's Hague to Arabio Creek. And there you have the PPP with 60% of the votes, 60.5% of the votes. So the PPP just a little lower in this sub-district and Win a little higher in this sub-district with 19.6% of the votes. But then you have APNU just behind Win with 18% of the votes. And of course, you have the three other parties just taking a few votes here and there. So with all of the SOPs for the three sub-districts in, we have been able to put together something to show you what the picture is for the entire region. So for the entire Region 3, this is give or take what the results are like. And the PPP has won the region with 77.7% of the votes. You see Win coming in next with 16.5%. And then you have APNU there, 5.2%. And smaller numbers by the smaller party. So this is what Region 3 looks like. Of course, we will await the official declaration from GECOM, but based on our count from the SOPs uploaded, this is what we're looking at for Region 3.
Yeah, so we can project then that the PPP has taken Region 3. That is no surprise because the trends that we've seen in these results is the Win party eroding the base of and Win support certain has done or the APNU from that party, that coalition, on the results of these results, and I mean it's looking pretty bad for them. So we can imagine them trying to muster a reaction. So yes, we have those results from Region 3, but early on we were also trying to tabulate the results from other regions. So Bishani, you could perhaps go back to the results from Regions 1 and 8 that we have been able to tabulate thus far.
Okay, guys. So you have had an extensive explanation of what's going on in places like the District 4, Region 3, hearing that the PPP dominated in Region 3. You also heard that the Win party is doing really well. The APNU party is doing really well. We're going to continue to listen to hear the other districts that they have some information on. You guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Again, this is just preliminary. We still have to wait for the count to be completed. But if you're feeling excited about your party right now, whether you voted for the PPPC or you're following or you're supporting it from overseas, the APNU, the Win Party, the Forward Guyana Party, the AFC, and of course the ALP, which is led by Simona Brooms, you have reasons to celebrate if you feel like your party is in the lead, regardless of the fact that, we haven't had the final count. But fingers crossed, you want your party to win. We have to wait for the count to be completed. I'm going to answer some of your questions shortly from in the chat, but let's get back to hearing from the media house in Guyana, the official information coming out of an official media house in Guyana, a newsroom, of course. And so I'm gonna put you back onto that live, and so you can hear some more about the count in the other regions.
Sure. So for Regions 1 and 8, like I mentioned earlier when I was here, we don't have all of the SOPs. So we put this together using 41 of 82 ballot boxes, the SOPs for the general election from these 41 ballot boxes. In Region 1, we see the PPP has taken the lead so far. 65.1% of the votes are for the PPP so far. And then Win is behind with 30.6% of the votes. And then APNU trailing behind those two parties with just 3.4% of the votes. So that's Region 1, what we have so far. I'll take you to Region 8 now. This is what we have for Region 8 for 21 of 42 ballot boxes, SOPs from those ballot boxes, and Win clearly in the lead so far in Region 8. Win taking more than half of the votes in Region 8 so far, that's 56.4%. But the PPP just behind it with 32.5% and APNU with 10.4%. AFC, of course, just under a percent at 0.7% nil. So that's what we have right now. And like you mentioned before, our teams are working on the SOPs. As they come in, we're trying to do our own counting and tabulation, and we're trying to put it together to bring it to our viewers.
Yeah, and I have to say, I mean, this year it's perhaps the easiest year in terms of results. I mean, I've covered elections, I believe, since 2001, and this is the fastest that I've ever seen statements of poll being produced and delivered to the public in this way. I don't have to remind you of what happened in 2020. It took us 5 months to establish what the vote count was like in Region 4. And shockingly, already we have 100%, almost 100%
of Region
the
4
SOPs in for District 4. Of course, it's the largest electoral district, so it will take some time for us to be able to tabulate the results from that region. I have to remind you that what we are sharing with you is our projections as we've been able to tabulate the results that have come in from GECOM. GECOM is the only authority that can really pronounce on these elections, and they have said that we should have declarations from the districts by this afternoon, going into the evening and into tomorrow. And the Chief Elections Officer had said that he's hoping to be able to make an official declaration of the overall winner of these elections by Thursday morning. And so we'll continue to bring you updates as we get them. So stay tuned. You're watching the newsroom.
Okay, guys, so you've heard for yourself from Guyana, from Newsroom. They're tracking the statements of polls live, and they're bringing results. They're bringing results as they come in. So let me know what you think. We have learned also that the PPP is taking the lead in Region 1, with the Win Party coming in second so far. They're still counting. Ballot boxes are still coming in, and statements of polls are still being received by GECOM. Also, the APNU is trailing behind the two parties at number 3. We haven't heard much about the other parties, the AFC, the Forward Guyana Movement, or the ALP. And over in Region 8, we have the Win Party taking most of the votes so far. They're still collecting SOPs and ballot boxes, but the Win Party is leading right now, with the PPP trailing behind at 32% and the APNU with 10.40% of the votes so far. What is your overall opinion on what we've heard so far? Okay. Okay. So we have Sol Santiam, who is our moderator. You can direct your questions there. I'm going to start reading some of the questions and see if also I can provide some answers to you as we continue talking about the electoral system and what's needed for a party to win. Now, for example, for the and some of you may already know this. It's just for those of you who may need to recap on, Politics 101. It's, the PPPC, for it to continue in office, to remain in government, it has to grab at least 33 of those parliamentary seats. Similar for WIN, similar for the APNU. However, there is a potential, we do not know as yet, the votes are still being counted, there is a potential that none of these parties that are leading, which the top 3 parties are, it's obvious, the PPPC, the WIN Party, and the APNU. Those 3 contenders are the top parties vying for the office of the president, okay? And so they each need to win at least 33 seats. If that doesn't happen and the votes are splintered, then we're talking about the potential for a coalition government. Now, that's the key question. Mohamed has already told his supporters that his party has no intention of forming a coalition with any of the other parties. We don't know what's going to happen on Judgment Day, on elections, on Thursday when the elections results come out. But if no one wins outright, if there's no landslide victory as the PPP expect, then we're going to be having a different conversation on Thursday. Okay? Now, it is the final takeaways prediction, and I can say this right now, that we don't believe that there is going to be a landslide victory. This is going to be a very close, very, very tight, close race, and potentially talks about a coalition government for the next 5 years. Okay, let me know what you think in the comment section. You can disagree with me, that's okay. I'm just saying what my the gut instinct based on the polls, based on what we've been seeing, and of course not talking about crowd size, because that doesn't always translate to votes at the polling booths. But it looks like, as we are seeing right now, the Win Party especially is giving the PPPC a run for its money. You good? Everything is fine, okay? So I'm alrighty. So let's see some of your comments. Bridget. Okay, so far we have over 1,000. We have 1,500 people plus in the chat in this live stream. We want to welcome all of you. If you just joined, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your support as we all together sit and wait for the results to come out. If you just joined us, you missed. I did play some audio and then some video from out of Guyana, official reports coming out about, giving us a synopsis as to where we're at in terms of the different districts and the statements of polls that were already, collected and uploaded, and some of the numbers that are coming out and who is leading in which region. So far, it is not the end of the counting. They have to count all of the votes. Hopefully your vote is in there and it's going to be counted as well, and that your party will win, but there can only be one winner. Bridget, Hubbard, Allen. Okay, you guys are talking to each other there. I'm not sure what's happening in there. We want to ask you guys to be nice to each other, okay? We all have to exist in the same space right now in this stream, and we want everyone to have their own opinion. We don't want you to feel like you cannot express yourself in here. This is a freedom of speech stream. At the same time, we want to respect each other's opinion and comments. And if you, have to, give a reply or a feedback, we want to ask you to just be kind to each other, okay? Let's look at so Ganesh Paul says, even though GECOM has not officially seen the results as yet, it's already a foregone conclusion that the PPP has won. Bass says the PPP see all the way. Alvin Dwarka says APNU is no more, rest in peace. Almighty Daughter says no one yet. Okay, let's move down here. Brian Campbell says, can a party collate after the elections to have majority or before? The collation could happen before, it could happen after. I believe that's what happened with the APNU and the AFC when they formed a coalition and they got into power in 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a few years back. It's what, a decade ago. So yeah, my memory of that might be not as strong. Okay. Bass says, I saw on social program that the PPP won. Well, you heard for yourself. They're still counting the votes. Yes, I still saw dead people names says that Sky Blue Dreams. That's something perhaps you can report to GECOM. You know, if anybody in this stream or someone you know recognize someone on the list of voters that has passed away, that's something you can bring to the attention of the Guyana Elections Commission. You know, the list needs to be cleaned up. If it's we don't know this, I can verify this. If it is packed, or even if it has at least one deceased person, that should not be happening, okay? And that's something that the opposition party has failed to get GECOM to do before the elections. There was also the claims and objections period. I don't know how many people go check out the list before the list is cleaned up and the official voters list comes out. I don't know how many voters go and check that list to see, you know, who's on there, if their names are there, if they have the correct address there for you or whatever. But that's a process that helps people to know and maybe spot names of people who are not around, or they don't live at the address that is, you know, on that list anymore, or they migrated, and that's the good time to go to GECOM and do your claims and objections. Okay, that period has already passed. Almighty God, I think I read that already. So, okay. Let's come down here. Zebua, I'm trying to pronounce your names correctly. Israel, if we're supposed to wait on GECOM only, how come they're giving your results? Okay, so information could be released from authorized agencies like Newsroom, which is the government television station, I believe it is, in the sense that it's government leaning, or it works closely with the government in terms of releasing government information. So that would be, according to the Guyana government, a credible source to receive information from. But those are not it's not the official results. They are just giving us updates as to what's happening in the different regions, what statements of polls, how many statements of polls have come in, what the count looks like, and letting us know that, you know, they're still receiving information. So they want to update the nation so that you can have an idea as to where this is going. At the end of the day, we still have to wait for the last vote to count before the elections results could be officially certified and released to the public. Billy Michael says, win can win. Nazmun Abdul says, supporting from Canada, welcome from Canada, supporting the PPPC. Some people, Almighty Goddaughter said, some people went to vote and found out they already voted. PPP will stop at nothing to control oil money. That's what we're talking about, getting the voters list cleaned up. There was a voter yesterday. I'm not sure when you were on here last evening. There was a voter. I ran a video with a voter who said that she arrived at the polling station and her name was not on the list, and that's where she voted all of her life as an adult, and that she's lived at the same address, and then she shows up, she was unable to vote. She was unable to vote at that point. I'm not sure if they were able to rectify that after the fact. So those are some of the hiccups that you know, those are all, it's all part of, you know, no system is perfect, and that's why the opposition parties were calling for GECOM to take seriously the introduction of the biometric system, which makes it easier to identify voters and ensure that the person is who they say they are at the polling station. And even if they do fingerprinting, even better, okay? Because, you know, your fingerprint is unique. You are the only person who has a fingerprint like yours in the entire world of billions and billions of people, okay? So hopefully at the next election, that's something that will come to fruition, and there could be more transparency when we're talking about voter transparency, elections transparency. That is what we're talking about, systems that help to alleviate some of these issues. Let me know what you think. Quite Thursday. Yes, Thursday, Jazz. Queen Letta says, I'm very nervous. Let me see where I skipped you over for a second. She says she's nervous. Let's get back there. Yes, you are not the only one, dear. But it's going to be over soon. We're going to hear soon from it's going to be 2 days from now, and it's almost close to Wednesday already. So hang tight, okay? Tiffany Atkinson says, what is your prediction? I've said my prediction. My prediction is that there will be no landslide victory for any of these parties, regardless of how they're performing right now. Because, for example, right? So one party could be like performing great in one region or one district, right? And then they can underperform in another region and another party will take the lead. The PPP, for example, is leading in region 1. Let's say it dominates region 1, but then we go to region 4 or another other region and we see WIN or the APNU dominates that region, okay? So it's like, it's hard to tell with these bits and pieces of information who will win the election, but it's good information and it tells you, at least it's telling us which parties are which parties are the main parties that contested these elections. And we have said it before in a video that we posted a couple of days ago, that these are the top 3 parties, and the results so far, they're confirming what we believed, that these are the 3 top parties: the PPP, the APNU, and the WIN party, in no particular order. Okay. The PPP, Herbert Allen says the PPP is leading by over 14,000 votes so far. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm not sure about that figure, but okay. PH Mafia Gaming says the PPP better win. We will get 5 years more of progress. That's the sentiments of PPP supporters. Of course, other supporters for other parties dissent. They believe that the PPP has not done much in other than build infrastructure and things like that, haven't really done much to touch the people. But you can tell me if your life has changed in the last 5 years significantly, or even if it has changed to some extent, that you feel that this particular government that's in office, well, the incumbent, that they deserve another chance in office to continue to, expand the progress in Guyana. We know that WIN has never ruled or governed the country before, so WIN has no track record. The APNU under Aubrey Norton doesn't have any track record. The only party of the top 3 parties that has a track record is the PPP. So we have information to critique the PPP, and by and large, the PPP government has come in for a lot of flack for alleged corruption. And this is not just people talking on the ground. There was a U.S. report coming out of the Western Bureau of, it deals with reports on narco trafficking and corruption within a country. And in the 2025 report, Guyana is cited as one of the most corrupt countries. In fact, Transparency International cites Guyana's corruption perception index. According to a recent report, that corruption index is at 39 in 2024. I'm not sure there's a report for 2025 as yet, but in 2 years, between 2020 and 2024, when the PPP took office under the Irfan Ali administration, they lost 2 points. So on the corruption perception index, Guyana went down by 2 points. And the lower you go, the more corrupt you are. The lower you go in number, the more corrupt the country is. For it to go or improve in its corruption perception index, it has to gain some points. Okay, so corruption is something that is largely cited as an issue in Guyana, and not only under the current government. The previous government, the other party, the opposition party government, has been cited for corruption. Okay, no government in the world, and this is a hasty generalization, but I can say so with confidence. There's no government in the world that can say we have 100% clean. We have a clean record. There's no corruption. You know what I mean? So, and corruption is, again, it's subjective. Some people might think, but corruption is corruption. You tell me what you think in the comment section. Okay. So Odessa says, what's the count in region 4? We had some numbers earlier, but I didn't document it, but I can, after in our next live, I want to bring you some specific numbers. I'm going to get as much numbers. I'm going to crunch the numbers. And so when I come to you with the next live, I'm going to be bringing you specific figures. By then, they would have counted a lot more of the votes in the different districts, and I can have some more information, some precise information to you. Lionel Singh says there is no perfect system. That's right, there's no perfect system, okay? I agree with you. Joseph says, I left British Guyana in 1962 for the United Kingdom. I hope that as a Guyanese, no one has taken my name off the voting list. Well, you know what? I'm not sure if when someone migrates, they take the person's name off the list. I believe they're supposed to do that because it means that therefore the person is no longer living in Guyana. And then if you have like a dual citizenship and you want to go and vote in any of the elections, then maybe you have to re-register. I would think that seems to be the most logical thing to do. Otherwise, somebody can show up and say they're Joseph from Guyana who's living in the UK and it's not you. Okay, so I'm not sure what's the protocol, but I would think that would be the logical thing to do to prevent people from voting for people who are actually outside of Guyana or they've passed away. Bed bested. I'm not sure if I'm okay. Bell bested army says, so sad, my country. Odessa says, what's the counting region for? Souls. Okay. Beverly Waveney Williams says, hi, on behalf of Berbice River is in the house. Hi, Waveney, all the way from Berbice River. Okay, welcome. Are you actually in the Berbice River right now? Because I'm not sure if they have like an internet network there. If you do, congratulations. It means that Guyana is going places. I'll tell you what. I know they have Guyana Wi-Fi hotspot. I'm telling you that. Guyana has hotspot. Okay, so if you land in Georgetown and you don't have a number to connect, you can hop on the hotspot and you could talk to your friends on WhatsApp. You don't need to have a number, a local telephone number. Isn't that cool? That's really cool, okay? That's really, really cool. So if you're getting internet and you're able to join this live stream from the Berbice River, that's what's up. Public Service Commission says performance trafficking more than legal existence, legal representative. I'm not sure how to interpret that. If you can explain some more, maybe I can help to, respond. Hubert Allen says, yes, the PPP has not yet done much. Cash grants, 20,000, gold scholarships, 60,000 house lots, free education at all levels, no tax after $120,000, free medical care, $60,000 jobs created, infrastructure, etc., etc. Yes, and there is the going statement that people say, we can't eat the road, we can't eat the hospitals, the buildings, the bridges, all that is great, but people got to eat. And if the cost of living is going up, you have fancy schools and fancy roads and all of this, fancy dandy stuff. And food isn't getting to the people's table because the jobs, they're still working meager jobs and collecting meager salaries and they cannot afford to buy food, basic necessities. To what end, and then Guyana boasts of being an oil wealthy country. So the math isn't mathing, okay? For those of you, because the elites will worry about the elites, but those who are interested in the welfare of those who are disadvantaged or in the poverty-stricken population, then you wonder, is Guyana really rich? Does it really have wealth if the wealth isn't trickling down to everyone? Okay, you let me know. You might have a different opinion, and of course I respect that. Ramphal Udai Paul says, greeting one and all, welcome also Waveney Williams. She says she's following from the United States. Okay, welcome. Simango Jedion Studio, I'm not sure to pronounce that. Jedion Studios. We need universities in every region. That is something basic too, okay? So the students of the various regions, not maybe not in every region, but who knows? But the main regions, and then of course, then as Guyana build its wealth, potentially place universities in all of the regions, so you don't have to travel to the city or out of town, leave home, literally relocate to go to school in the city. You can go to school and stay locally at home. Okay, so, and also for those students who have to go overseas to study for a specific profession like becoming a doctor or an attorney, I do not think Guyana has a law school. After all this time, students from the University of Guyana still have to travel to Trinidad and Tobago to continue and complete their legal education. And we're talking about the oil wealth, collecting billions of dollars in revenue, and lawyers, would-be lawyers, still have to travel to another country to complete their studies in order to become an attorney. Yes. So those are the things that are creating a disconnect between saying Guyana is a wealthy country, we have oil, blah, 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 versus what's happening on this end. We're not seeing, there's a disconnect. So while Soul Sanctium, who is our moderator, you can direct your questions there. We still have over 1,000 viewers in the live. We did say we're going to go from 4:45 to 6:45. It is currently 5:56 p.m. So we have still about 50 minutes remaining for this live stream. Let's see if we can go back in and bring you some more information on what's happening currently in Guyana regarding the counts, the vote counts. Hang tight with me, okay? So yes, guys, I'm trying to queue up something for you guys to hear again about the counts. Okay, I noticed that there's a message from Adrienne Ritney who says, "How is wealth related to a law school? Should we bribe or waive for accreditation?" No, I think let me just lower this music for a moment. I don't want to be misunderstood here. What I was saying basically that the focus could potentially involve the monies that are being spent on roads and bridges and other infrastructures, which are necessary. That is something that can be considered for many, many years. For maybe 1 to 2 decades, there were talks of building a law school in Guyana, and that has not come to fruition. And the point I was making is that claiming to all of this oil wealth and using it to campaign on that, and something as what I'd say not not simple, but important as having a law school for those who want to become attorneys in Guyana. So you don't have to leave your families and head to another country. You have to literally migrate to another country to continue your studies. That is what I'm saying, and that would be something that we would welcome in for students, and not only the law students, those who are reading to become doctors. I believe there is a medical department now. I know there is a law department in Guyana, but you cannot become an attorney unless after you graduate and you have your bachelor's degree and you spend another 2 years in Trinidad and Tobago, or you can go to Jamaica or in Barbados, because those are the affiliate campuses, to read for the bar exam. And so that's 2 years away from your family and your loved ones. So that's the point I was making, okay? But if Guyana doesn't want to focus on that because that's not important, then that's fine. We are just having a conversation here. We're going back and forth and, expressing our opinions. And yes, everything is great. No results yet, Samuel. No results, no official results. But we have some results in certain regions. We know that the PPPC has been leading in Region 1. The last we heard with the Win Party. The Win Party is giving some competition. The APNU is also giving some competition, but for example, in Region 8, Win is leading. Win is leading over 50% of the votes that are counted so far. The PPP is trailing behind Win at 32%, and then the APNU is trailing behind the other two parties, okay? But nothing official as yet to answer your question. If you just joined the stream, that's what we have at this point. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be queuing up something for you, as I said. Will be one moment. Be right back.
Of the Guyana. You're watching the newsroom as we cover elections 2025. We're joined now by Mr. Commissioner Rohe, a career politician who is now a commissioner of the Guyana Elections Commission. This is his commissioner on general elections. Mr. Rohe, thank you very much for joining me. First, I wanted to ask you how things have gone from your angle with these elections.
Well, I have to look at it from two angles, both of which are difficult to divorce. First is from the angle of a politician. It would seem to me that compared to previous elections, especially the more recent one in 2020, it's gone pretty well. I visited a number of polling stations on the highway, the Upper East Bank, coming right down to Georgetown. And most of the polling stations, in fact, all of the polling stations that I visited and spoke to the presiding officers who are in charge of those places, the general sentiment was that it all was going well at the time when I visited. I haven't heard any untoward activities following my visit from reports that I've been receiving. The rules were observed. For example, the way in which the elector should behave at a polling station, follow the rules. The question of the use of a cell phone was observed quite well. An identification. There were some cases where people or some electors had to swear to an oath, and that went pretty well as far as I could understand it. There was a couple of incidents which I thought was unnecessary, where, for example, at a polling station in Kingston, because I would always ask about the blind/disabled electors, how were they accommodated, especially blind, because the rule is that they can go to vote at the booth with a friend who is also an elector, registered, or a relative. And that seemed to have gone well. But there was one incident which upset me a lot, where from the reports the report I got at that particular polling station, when I asked the question whether there were any disabled or blind persons turning up to vote, and I was told that one person who apparently disabled turned up to vote, and he couldn't climb the stairs, which is about 3 or 4 stairs, to get into the polling station. And when I questioned further, it appeared to me that the kind of assistance that should have been given to help the person up the stairs, whether it was the police rank or whether it was one of the GECOM officials to do that, didn't happen. And the more I delved deeper into the question, I left that place convinced that the kind of assistance that should have been given was not given. In other words, that no one went out of their way to assist. And I was happy to hear the CEO of GECOM mention this as a kind of a setback at some polling stations, in the sense that the polling stations were either had stairs to climb, or the raft was not there to allow easy access to a polling station. And it would seem, therefore, that that's a matter that ought to be addressed, even for local government elections next year. So I think that, generally speaking, from my perspective, both as a politician and as a commissioner, although they're supposed to be separable, GECOM did well. I have no doubts about that whatsoever. The professionalism of most presiding officers and the staff were par excellence. And from what I'm noticing now in retrospect, because you don't pick up everything right away, because afterwards you tend to reflect on what was it you didn't see and what was it that you saw. I would think that on balance, the positives may outweigh by far whatever little negatives may have surfaced during the course of the day. So I would say that GECOM did a fairly good job. They're still on the job with the tabulation now taking place. And from my conversation with some observers, because I just came from the command center in Kingston, they have told me that they're very impressed with the fact that the tabulation thus far is going rather smoothly. So I think that I'm generally satisfied with the performance of GECOM, the polling day staff, and as a politician, having reflected on what took place in previous elections, this one, with the new laws, helped a lot to improve the situation and put people at ease.
Help us to understand what happens now with the commission. Do you meet on a regular basis with the chairman to discuss how things are going, what improvements can be made? That sort of thing happens?
But that would depend on if, let's say, 3 of the 6 commissioners is able to convince the chairman that an issue has arisen that requires the convening of a meeting. There may be cases there may be a coincidence between the 6 from the opposition and 6 from the government sponsored on the matter, and therefore the chairman would consult in order to determine whether a meeting should be called. So it depends on whether issues arise that facilitates or calls for a meeting before we meet to address the question of the declaration. But insofar as the work plan is concerned, our role up to this point in time is to be part of the process in a kind of a active/positive way. But the main thing that will be before us subsequently in a few days' time is the question of a meeting to address the declaration for the public and the parties.
Now, as a commissioner nominated by your party and also the politician that you say, you must be pleased with the upload of these statements of poll, because right now, as I see it, it's at 93% or more than that. Mm-hmm. Did you expect it to be so efficient? I mean, I'm sure you wanted it to be.
Yes, I've been following that last night from home until early this morning, and I'm very impressed. I mean, sometimes it's a little slow because there's a heavy load on the, what you call the
gallery?
Not on the gallery in terms of the access to information.
Okay.
But that notwithstanding, I think
Okay, guys, that was Clement Rohe. He was giving his perception, his feedback on the elections so far. I did mention earlier there were some issues with voters who weren't able to access their polling stations because of their disability. They were, differently able. Some persons in wheelchairs and stuff like that. I literally have. Let me see if I can bring up a photo here right now. Let me see an example of what I'm talking about right here. Let's see if we can put that on the screen. Okay, I can't find it. Let me see. So there were at least 2 people. I saw an elderly man being carried by another man out of the polling station, like carrying him like a baby. And this gentleman went to cast his vote, of course, and he needed to be assisted. And so there were some complaints that there were not adequate systems in place to accommodate people who were differently able. Let us know what you think about that in the comments section. Did you hear about that? Any of that in your area? Also, we want to go back for some of you who haven't heard this. Maybe you did, and we did speak about it last night, where GECOM denounced the Win Party for posting a statement of poll on their website literally about 1 minute after the polls were closed at 6 p.m. yesterday. At 6:01, we understand a statement of poll was posted on Team Mohamed's Facebook page, which is run by the Win Party. And so GECOM denounced that, and let us know what you think about that. And they called it a fake statement of poll. Let me bring that up for you quickly so you can have a look at that. Okay, let's go back here. Alrighty. Okay, so here we go. This is a photo here of, that's the photo of 2 men carrying, I think it's a woman up the stairs. And we also have let's transition back to this. There we go. We also had a statement of poll that was posted on the Team Mohamed's website. That's the statement of poll here. And so GECOM denounced the Win Party for that, and they are investigating that action, which is considered a violation of elections laws. According to a statement from GECOM, GECOM rejects the publication of a fake statement of poll on September 1, 2025 in Georgetown. The Guyana Elections Commission has noted the abhorrent publication of a fake statement of poll at 1 minute past scheduled close of the polls. GECOM wishes to make it abundantly clear that it is impossible for the counting of ballots at any polling station to have even commenced. Okay? So, GECOM is not playing right now. It says the despicable act can only be seen as creating a platform on which the political party associated with Team Mohamed's Facebook page can create the impression that it has been successful at all of the polls. Tell me what you think about that. GECOM takes the opportunity once again to appeal to all stakeholders to accept only the results of the elections that are posted on GECOM's website in the form of statements of poll, the official statements, the official declarations made by the supernumerary returning officer and returning officers for the district and sub-districts respectively, and the national results to be declared by GECOM itself. Okay, the publication for fake results will be put to the Guyana police force for investigation. Okay, so Win Party has got itself in trouble, according to GECOM. Now, let us skip over to GECOM's website. Let's skip over to GECOM's website and show you something. Okay, guys. So on your screen, the Guyana Elections Commission's official website where they're uploading the statements of polls. So last evening when we ended the stream, most of the polling stations, in most of the districts had not yet posted or had not handed in their statements of polls so that we can see it on the website. But if you look here now, things are looking a bit different. Okay, so in District 1 there are 216 statements of poll were submitted. Now, so the statements of poll, each individual, okay, so the statement of poll I showed you that Mohamed's party allegedly, well, not allegedly, because I did get a screen grab of it, so it was posted online. It's not allegedly. That's an example of a statement of poll. So where you see 216 statements of poll, this particular district has submitted 216 of those documents, right? And on each of those documents, it states how many voters voted for the 6 parties that participated in the election. So you have 216 of those particular documents, and then they have to count all the statement of polls and how many voters voted for each parties on each of the statement of polls. So that's why it's taking so long, okay? And they're doing this manually, as opposed to first world countries like the United States and the UK and other parts of the world. They have a machine that tabulates the votes. Okay, they just plug it in there, they feed the ballots into the system, and it just counts it automatically. So that's why they can have their elections results on the same day within a matter of hours by midnight most of the times, and they have millions of people voting in the elections in the United States. But it's two different systems, two different countries, so we're not making a comparison, but just to give you an example as to why it may be taking so long. It will take days in Guyana versus taking a couple of hours in places like the United States, okay? So in District 2, if you look here, District 2, we have 316 statements of polls were submitted. Region District 3, 814, District 4, 2,176. We're talking about the Georgetown area outside of Georgetown. District 5, poll 386. And you know, as you go down the list, if you want to get this here is the website. I can always drop it in the chat for you. You can check it out for yourself. But if you open any of these here, we could go into Georgetown, okay? For now, this is the largest amount of statements of polls that came in. So let's go into Georgetown, and let's go into District 4. East Bank, Demerara, North Georgetown, South Georgetown, and East Coast Demerara. The most so far, okay, East Coast Demerara, 790 statements of polls. How about we hop in here and see what they have? Okay, it's loading. Good. Now, randomly, this is East Coast Demerara. We're going to randomly select a polling station. Let's do Pleasance Community Center. Let's bring that up. Did I bring up the right one? Okay. Let me see if I have the right one. Pleasance Community Center. Okay. Good. If you see here, it says here the parties, the symbols, and how many votes were received at that particular polling station. Here we see at that one polling station, a single polling station in East Coast, there is 111 votes for the PPP. PPP is winning on this particular statement of poll, but that's just one of 2,000 and plus. Okay, so that gives you an idea as to why this is taking so long. Let's check out another place. Let's do the Seventh Day Church. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, nothing here. There's nothing there. It's blank. That's interesting. Blank statement of poll. Okay. St. Paul's Primary. Let's just randomly select somewhere else. Okay, here you see in PPP 150, 000 for all these parties, and Win has 4. Win has 4, and the PPP has 100, and it looks like 150. Okay, so you can do this for yourself if you have some time, you want to play around. You can just hop in there and see what's happening. Let's skip over to District 6, which I believe should be Berbice, Quarantine, East Bank, Berbice, Upper Quarantine, Lower Quarantine. Let's just have an idea what's happening down there. Let's skip over to Brothers Health Center. If you want, we can do that, or we can do Lighttown Primary School. Let's look for a location that might be populated. The Berbice High School. Let's check Berbice High School location. At the Berbice High School, we see some votes here for the APNU, the AFC, the ALP, no votes, and Forward Guyana is picking up a couple of votes, I'll say that. And the PPP seem to have 55 votes, and the Win Party has 51 votes, if I'm seeing that correctly. I have to expand that. So just to give you a synopsis, so, you know, we are still waiting. We all have to exercise patience, and the results are going to come in eventually, and then you'll know who will be governing the country for the next 5 years. I'm going to hop back into the comment section and see what questions I can answer for you. Okay, so where I'm at right now, I can see Kali Singh says, okay, speaking to Soul Sanctum, okay. Let Soul Sanctum address that. Ramzan Gafur, when something is going great, people will always hate. Okay, you did make a comparison. I'm not sure what was that about. Janak, okay. Okay. Alrighty. So listen, guys. comment away, okay? We've got thick skin here, okay? Just make sure that you're being kind in your comment, and we do have a moderator. Any comment that violates our guidelines, that comment will be removed, and if there's a second violation, that person in the chat will be blocked, okay? We are investing a lot of time sitting for 2 hours gathering this information before we go live, making sure that we have factual information for you, doing the research and coming to you wholeheartedly. We would love it if we ask you kindly to just be kind in the comment section. You can have your opinion, but it doesn't take any effort to be kind to people in the chat, to our moderator, to our team, the people who put together everything, to myself who has to sit here and, chat. I love chatting with you guys, and you guys have been a great bunch for the most part, okay? So let's keep up the good work. Ramphal says, and Norton was moving around. Norton was moving around furniture. Okay. Now tell me, how do you know this? Kali Singh says, I've never seen this attribute in any recent leaders. You only see them every 5 years. Alvin Raghunandan says, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. And when we have comments like these, it's encouraging because we know how much work we have to put in behind the scene to get on the live stream, to upload even a 4-minute video. It takes hours to do that. And so when we have fans that come in and they show their appreciation, we really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Silent treatment. I like that name, silent treatment. I want to give somebody the silent treatment right now. What are the total votes per party as it stands now? We don't have those numbers. The numbers are changing by the minute because they're still posting. They're still uploading the statements of poll, and the persons who are counting the votes, I'm not sure if they started counting. The first thing to do is to bring together all the statements of polls for each polling station, and there were over 1,200 polling stations. So after that is done, that's when they move to the tabulation stage to count the votes on each of those statements of polls. And we're talking about thousands of statements of polls, okay, when you bring together all the polling stations that are bringing in statements of polls. So we have to be patient in this process. Once that is done, then GECOM can take over and decide when it's going to release the results, okay? Andrew Cozier says, Aubrey Norton should have known better. You took up a position but have not the drive and the enthusiasm to maintain that level of principle and courage. Aubrey Norton lacks courage, unlike Mrs. Waldron. Okay, so everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Let's see what else. Latsav Singh says, what are the... Okay, I did answer that, okay? I think I did. Big up Team Mohamed. Somebody says, Permanent Shivnoth said, how many seats will the PPPC get? We don't know yet. The votes have to be counted, and based on the votes, that's how the seats are determined. I don't know specifically as yet, but I'll check that out. How many votes is equal to a seat in Parliament, okay? I'll get that information for you if you want to dig deeper. Okay. Ramphal says he himself said it at Sophia. I do like the name Silent Treatment. I tell you that. Silent Treatment. Where are you coming from tonight? Are you tuning in from Guyana or another part of the world? I have to copy that name, okay? Silent Treatment. Okay. Who win? So we still don't know who won. And let me see if I missed anybody. I know there are a lot of comments here. And right now we are at the 6:28 p.m. mark. We're going to be wrapping up soon because we don't have any other new information for you. We did bring you some information where the not officials but the media brought you some reports on the statements of polls. We looked at the GECOM's website to see the number of statements of polls that were already submitted. It's a big jump from last night because last night most of the districts had not supplied their statements of polls as yet. Obviously, the polling stations were just closed, and even up to midnight, there was not much You can check out that website for yourself. It's let's go to the website. It's the SOP. You can write this down, and I can put it in the bottom of the description of the video right after the live stream ends. SOP, S as in Sam, O as in other, P as in Pat, G as in George, A as in Alan, L as in Larry, L as in Larry, E as in Echo, R as in Richard, Y as in Thomas, dot GECOM.org.gy. And that's the website. You can come over here and you can follow this all day long at your leisure, okay? As soon as we have something new, if we don't do a live stream, if it's something breaking, we probably will do a live stream, or we'll post on the community post to update you from time to time, okay? So make sure that you subscribe and turn on YouTube notifications so that you can receive the updates whenever we release something from the final takeaway. We really appreciate all of you that came by. We had almost going on to 2,000 viewers at one point. The numbers are jumping back and forth now. I know people have things to do, and some of you have to go to work tomorrow. I know in Guyana, people go to bed early, so 6:30 p.m. might be your bedtime. You might not. You might be past your bedtime. Okay. So Ramphal says, final takeaway. Ramphal says, okay. You know what? Okay, Ramphal, I understand your comment. You said that we had a negative coverage of the PPPC. Okay. Hey, we appreciate your commentary. We don't have any skin in the game. We don't have any dog in the race. The PPPC is the current government. It's been ruling the country for 5 years. And the PPPC government is the government that we are going to put on blast because they were in government for the past 5 years. We cannot be talking about the opposition, especially on the Northern, even the Wind Party. And all of them, each of these parties, they have their, what you call that? Their stain, their taint, their tarnish or whatever. But we have to examine the PPPC government because it wants to come back into office. And that government has had 5 years to impress the people. And the question is, have they impressed the people? And so we're not taking sides. If the APNU gets into government and the APNU isn't acting right, there are going to be media houses that are going to hold the APNU or the Wind Party accountable. It doesn't matter who's in office, okay? You have to have somebody who's bringing the news to you and who's keeping it real and who's not sugarcoating anything and call it for what it is. And that's what we do here, and we have no apologies for that. This is an independent news media agency, and whoever is in government, whichever country's politics we're following, whether it's the United States or somewhere in the Caribbean, we're going to do just that, okay? But I thank you for your opinion. We value your time and your opinion, and anyone is free to have their own opinion and disagree in this chat or on our channel, okay? Enough said. So we have... Okay, so I think I covered most of the comments here, and we had Soul Sanctium answering some of your questions. I see some other statements from Ramphal, who's insisting that, you know. So I wouldn't continue to read those comments. Adrian, so yeah, I think we covered everything here. It says people from all over the world go to other countries to study. Belizean come to Guyana for medicine and law. Agreed. Belizeans, if I call it correctly, they also, yes, they do go to Guyana to study law. I'm not sure if students from Guyana go to Belize, but I know students from Guyana go to Cuba for medicine and to Trinidad and Tobago more than ever for law. But they have the option to go to the Mona campus in Jamaica, and Jamaicans do come down to Guyana. They do travel to Guyana to study as well. So you get the Jamaicans, the Belizeans, and the Barbadians that they kind of exchange students, you know. So yeah, they have that understanding. Those 3 Commonwealth countries, 3, right? Belize, Barbados, Jamaica, 4, and Guyana. Those 4 Commonwealth countries. Freedom of characteristics, I'm not sure what that is. Okay, so guys, It's 6:34. We're going to be wrapping up here soon. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to answer, anything you want me to look into and provide coverage on, anything you want me to upload on our community post or as a video, maybe do something. But so far, because things are happening so quickly, we want to do the live streams until the election season has come to an end, which should be by the weekend. Hopefully there is no unrest, that people will accept the citizens will accept the results, whatever the results are, whether there's a landslide victory or there's a need for a coalition government. You have to have a government. You can't have a nation without a government. So it's going to happen somehow, okay? Let me know if there's a particular thing you want us to focus on and a particular direction or a particular topic you want to discuss regarding the elections. That's what we're focusing on right now. Barring anything that comes up that is considered breaking news, we're probably going to upload a video or not, okay? Let me know in the comment section. If you have any other questions for me, we're going to be ending the stream in 10 minutes or so. We thank you for your time, and we're gonna set out a ping again when we have a new live stream coverage coming up. Okay. Gaston Taylor says it doesn't matter who wins, corruption will always rule the day. Yes, any government can be accused of corruption. We are just highlighting what's happening currently, present day, and we can, not backward looking, not forward looking, but present day, because present day is what people are voting on and going on the records of the various parties. And we just have to say what we hear, what we see, you had the big scandalous interview that came out right before the elections where Azim Junior Baksh sat down with Travis Chase of the HGPT TV news, nightly news, and that major revelation about top officials in the PPPC government taking bribes and having knowledge of gold smuggling and all those different things, and of course Bash did come back and say he apologized to the president and the president's mother, but people have asked the question, how come this guy would sit down with a straight face and lie for 45 minutes in an interview that was meant not to be leaked, not to be published until if and when he passes away, because he felt his life was in danger. And we can have party affiliation and we can love our parties. I vote and I have the party that I vote for, and if they're doing wrong, I'm gonna say, yeah, this party screwed up. I'm not that blind to my party's sins, so to speak, or their missteps. Because at the end of the day, I'm someone who holds accountability and transparency, and on our channel specifically. Let me not talk about myself specifically, but yes, of course, me. I believe in transparency and accountability, not for parties alone, for anybody, even in your everyday relationships, whether it's your partner, your children, your friends. You want transparency and accountability because you don't want people to mess with your lives. And when the government of the day isn't doing right by the people, and most of the people are saying that the government of the day is not doing right, then it's an eye-opener and it calls into question for someone to maybe point it out. So when Bash came out and made those allegations against the president, yes, he apologized, but there's a section of Guyana that says that he was forced to make that apology. And regardless, the United States did an independent investigation into Guyana's affairs, and they found that there was high corruption in office. There is nepotism. There is bribery. The police working in consortium with the current government, and those are independent reports. And of course, Transparency International report. It's not something we made up. It's what's out there. So, yes. Stay safe. Kali Singh says, stay safe and respect others' opinions. Thank you so much. This is Portraits. I'm not sure what that is. That interview backfired on the PNC. Ashanti says, good night. Francisco Sampson says, how does the GECOM know that Mohamed post to their website? Do they have proof? Yes, we do. We have a screen grab. Francisco Sampson, we have a screen grab of the post. I did show it earlier. I can bring it back up on the screen if you just joined the stream. I can show you what we're talking about very quickly here. Okay, let's see. Just give me one moment and I'm going to show you what we're talking about and what GECOM is actually talking about. Okay, so if you look on your screen, you'll see this is the statement of poll that GECOM is talking about that was uploaded to T. Mohamed's website. And if you look, I'm not sure if they have the time on there, but the day and what was said under the post, that's what GECOM is talking about. And so it seems to be a violation. They said the police will investigate. I'm not sure what's going to come of that, but I will be bringing you any updates as soon as possible. Maybe got hacked. Yes, they have to investigate, but preliminary information says, according to GECOM, that it was the Team Mohammed's Win Party that posted this, and because it's their Facebook page, barring any investigation that says the Facebook page was hacked, then prima facie on the face of it, this is a violation by the Win Party, according to GECOM. We didn't make this up. So, yes, Public Service Commission, PPP would build PNC. Good point, though. Good point, Latsav Singh. Good point. Could be hacked. You know, we're dealing with technology and social media and AI and stuff like that. I also saw something from GECOM where they condemned Melly Mel for, according to GECOM, spreading news about ballot boxes being opened in certain regions. I'm not sure if you heard about that. We definitely can follow up on that and see what's going on with that. But if you know anything about Melly Mel, she is a controversial figure, of course. I'm not here to pronounce whether the things that are being said are true or not. I don't know. We don't follow Melly Mel, but there was a statement by GECOM that called out that action and denounced it, to tell the Guyanese public that everything is okay, and that is not true. So I just want to let you know that GECOM has also pronounced on that and is keeping tabs on what's happening on the ground. We have somebody from Trinidad. Trinidad, King Hunter, Nazim Aziz. Hi, good evening. If the people didn't want to work, how could they eat? They're lazy. Okay. I saw a report on jobs and employment in Guyana several months ago, where an independent investigation was done, and I'm not sure if it was a private sector commission had the report, but in short, what was being said by the government is that the people who are not earning are people who don't want to work, that there's plenty of jobs for, to go around, but those who are not working and earning, then they're not earning because they're lazy. And then the flip side of that was that another, counter argument was that the limited jobs are being given away to foreigners, people who are migrating or, traveling to Guyana to look for work, like those from Asia and the Caribbean and Venezuela. So, there's always two sides to the coin. Okay. Adrian says it's not too feasible to have university in every region. Yeah, that's a good point. Feasible to have universities in every region, because Guyana it's a large country, but the regions are not far apart. Yes. Hubert Allen says Guyana only received $5. One moment, please. Hubert Allen says Guyana only received $5 billion. It cannot be the panacea for all of Guyana's ills. It will take more than that. Joining from New Jersey, Carlson Roy, Waveney Williams. Okay, we saw that already. C Mango. Okay, so those are earlier comments. Sulal from Jersey City. Welcome, Ranishwar. All we want is better life. All we want is a better life for the Guyanese people. Agreed. Good evening. Any results yet, Samuel? No results yet. Not officially. Samuel says thanks. All the people from all over the world. Okay, we got that too. I think Soul Sanctium did a great job moderating and trying to answer your question. Charles Abrams watching from Trinidad, another Trinidadian in the house. Nand Kumar says, nothing if the PPP wins, more progress. I think we saw that earlier. Who said the PPP was able to? Okay, the PPP. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. The light one. The PPP was able to play with a stacked deck where the voters list was heavily padded. No verification and no biometrics. I must be on crack to participate in a game with those type of rules. Aubrey. Again, we spoke about election transparency, fairness, and free and fair elections, and those are the things that would go against the concept of free and fair elections. If those systems are not in place, some people are going to be disenfranchised one way or the other. But again, you can have your own opinion. That's fine. Mr. Andrew Cozier said, Mr. Aubrey objecting at the outcome. It just goes to show he was too complacent as an opposition. All he does is walk out. Staging walkouts at Parliament makes you inept. You've now given the ruling. Okay, Andrew Cozier said party content to do as they please. Okay, great. Of course, Ramzan Ghafoor says, I'm sorry, says Ali needs to get the GDF and the police department more serious equipment and proper training to get justice done right in Guyana. Glenn Khan says, with the pace that the PPPC is carrying the development of the country, the Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali should be president for life. Okay. Kali Singh says the PPP give out grants and raise income, but if okra costs $500 per pound, along with other foods being expensive, what's the end result? The most important thing is to reduce the cost of living. And yes, that's what we're hearing a lot. The cost of living is so important. People have got to survive. Okay. Andrew Cozier, I think I read that already. Okay. Let's read a few more comments. It's 6:47 and we're going to be ending in a moment. Thank you guys. We still have over 700 people in this stream. Tell me guys, when would you like to see us come back with another live stream? Tomorrow? When are you free? We want to have maximum participation. What is a good time for you guys to come back? Okay, we can schedule something around your schedule so we have the most people we can sometime tomorrow to be a part of this stream. Ramzan Ghafoor says, I asked before if the PPPC does not win, will like to know if all the projects will continue in Guyana. Silent Treatment, Upstate New York. I'm stealing your name. I'm telling you that. I'm going to use that name somewhere. Do not sue me for what that would be a copyright infringement, okay? Or a trademark. Maybe both. Do not sue me. The manifesto, okay. We didn't dive into the manifesto a lot in this particular election cycle because manifestos are promises. Promises can be broken. What matters is what gets done. What gets done, okay? What would be great is to do a reflection of the manifesto and to see whether or not the party that promised what it would do actually did what it said it would do, or at least more than 50% of that, okay? So, yes. So yes, guys, we're winding down. We're winding down. It's been a pleasure. We do have, if you want to be a VIP member, you have the option of going to our page, our channel page, and you can click on join, and you can explore those memberships that you can enjoy various perks. You can, it's gold, silver, and platinum memberships, and you can enjoy exclusive perks. Definitely check that out. And also if you want to support this channel, you can also send us super stickers to show your support and your love. You can send us super chats. You can send us I forgot, I think it's a couple of things. You can send us super gifts, super chats, super thanks, and super stickers. We appreciate you. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to give anything, but if you feel like you want to show your support in that way, we thank you in advance. We are happy, we're excited always to come to you. This is truly a joy, and we love that we have a community that's building, and that we can keep you up to date, especially at this important time of Guyana's history. Whatever happens in this election, I sense there's going to be some history made. Okay, come back and tell me after the results. Well, actually, I plan to be live when the results are going to be published by GECOM. So you'll come back and tell me, and we'll have a different conversation. Okay, so for now, I just want to say to you, be careful, be kind, be calm, be patient, and everything is going to turn out the way it should turn out. Jay Williams, I'm going to read a couple more comments before I leave. Says Jay Williams says, can anyone tell me why critics is so obnoxiously annoying, exudes high levels of ignorance and stupidity? We don't want to pronounce on people. Well, perhaps somebody in the chat can pick you up on that. But critics has his followers, and he has those who are opposers. And so everybody, each person has their personality. It's working for him. He has a large following. It's working for him. So that's his personality. Each of us, we all have different personalities, and sometimes people, even the nicest person, some people don't like the nicest person. Oh, you're so nice, you're too nice, you're too calm, you're too easygoing. And then if you flip the script and you're loud and you're aggressive, oh my gosh, I don't like you, you're obnoxious. So hey, you know what, to each his own. So critics got to do what critics do. He got to do what he got to do. Okay, we're doing what we have to do over here, which is keeping our community happy. Okay, name of the party is PNC PPP. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Oh, fixed cell phone did answer anytime available. Okay, so we're going to come back tomorrow, guys. I'm going to send you out. I did say this a couple of times. Send you out a notification to let you know what time I'm going to be coming back to you, okay? Increasing cash grants will increase inflation. Well, it's a balance. And Vice President Jack Dio is an economist. He was the Minister of Finance before he became the President of Guyana so long ago, in the 90s, I believe it was. And I think he was a 2-time president. So he knows how to crunch the numbers and do right by the people if he is, back in office for another 5 years, whether as Vice President or we're not sure how that, yes. So Michael George says 9 p.m. That's good for them. Okay, so we'll strike a balance. How about we do it in the afternoon, the live, when people are coming off work and just want to relax and listen on the go and get an update as to what's happening. Because what I'm going to do again, like I did today, I'm going to pull information from all avenues, all the avenues, and so when you come here, you can have all the updates in one place and some video clips to go with that for yeah, so let me know. Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, so we're gonna sign out here now. If you want, you can leave on your own, or we can end the stream. If you want to hang around for a little bit more and chat, we have Soul Sign TM who can answer some of your messages. If not, here's where we end the stream. It's been 2 hours and 6 minutes. We thank you for your time. We love you all, regardless, okay? So come back soon and let's parlay. at the final takeaway. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So that was our ending prelude of music. Oliver Green says they give you $1 and take back 99%. Make that make sense. We understand. We understand the cries of the people, and hopefully the next government, whether it's the incumbent government that returns or there's a new government, that the people will feel like the money or the not the money, sorry, that the cost of living is better, and that their income is better, and that life gets better for all Guyanese. Okay, here is where we say see you later in the next stream. Take care of yourself.